It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer, and I thought to myself, whilst I was in the supermarket looking at the European and World Lager section, that maybe I could put two of the big Italian giants up against one another, just to see which one comes out best. The reason why I'm doing this, it's currently 20 odd degrees outside, it's boiling hot, and at the moment, quite frankly, all I want is a nice cold lager. So I'm going to put Birra Moretti and Peroni Nastro Azzurro up against one another to see which one's best. Both from Italy. One's brewed by Heineken and one is AB InBev. Asahi, actually. Asahi. Peroni Asahi. Okay, so without further ado then, let's get these beers out into a glass and see what we get. The Birra Moretti, larger bottle. It's a 660 milliliter at 4.6% ABV. And the Peroni is a 500 milliliter. And that one's coming in at 5% ABV. Green glass for the Peroni, brown glass for the Birra Moretti. The Birra Moretti come in at, let's have a quick look, £2.70 in my local Asda, and the Peroni was £2.60. So there's only 10 pence in it. Without further ado then, let's get the beer out into a glass and see what we get. The other thing here to take note of is brown glass for the Birra Moretti. I'd much prefer the brown glass. There's a lot less chance of the beer having any kind of light strike, any kind of skunkiness from the hops. So there's a look at the beer end. This is the Moretti. We've got a 4-finger white head. Slightly off-white actually, if I'm very, very, very slightly off-white. But good carbonation, light, straw-coloured, clear lager. I'm using the same style glasses for the beer reviews. Trying to offer up the most kind of fairest comparison that I can do. There's the bottle cap on the Peroni. And there's for guessing, isn't it? You should never guess in life. I took a wild guess there that Peroni was owned by InBev. I just had a funny feeling and I was wrong. I was wrong. So even from this small distance from my nose, I've just poured the beer, I'm picking up a little bit of light strike, a little bit of skunkiness. And what happens when you have a beer in a green glass bottle? The light from the supermarket shelves, the UV lights, the sunlight giving off a lot of UV light, it affects the hops in the beer. And instead of having lovely floral, stinging nettle, kind of like slight lemony flavours coming through, it becomes skunky. It becomes skunky because it's just a chemical reaction from the sun affecting the hops. And that's a real shame. It's a real shame, but you can counter that by putting beer in dark brown bottles. Like Moretti have done here. It doesn't take much, does it? They're both from Italy. They've both been making beer for a long, long time. The brewmasters will know. The brewmasters will know all about light strike. They'll know all about skunkiness in beer. Yet it's normally the marketing team that make that decision to put a beer in green glass. And the marketing team know nothing about light strike. Right, so we got a full glass of Moretti. And we got a full glass of Peroni. Moretti's in the more beer glass. Let's have a look at them. So what I would say about the Moretti is that it's slightly darker in colour. Very similar carbonation. But the Peroni is definitely lighter in colour. But the Peroni's created more of a European style head on the beer. Aroma on the Moretti. Smells okay. Smells okay. A little bit biscuity, a little bit kind of wafer-like in the malt flavour, malt aroma. The hops are like that kind of stinging nettle, peppery, spicy, it's like lemoniness coming through. Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. A little bit of wafer, a little bit of light wafer coming from the malt. Peppery, spicy, lovely bitterness on the back end, a little bit of stinging nettle. Not bad, that. It's not bad. I just want to see... it's brewed in the UK by Heineken. So it's a UK brewed Birra Moretti. If I can get hold of an Italian brewed Birra Moretti, I will be sure to do an Italian Birra Moretti versus a UK brewed Birra Moretti in the future. But it tastes okay. It's only when you really kind of put it up against this Italian counterpart, an Italian brewed Birra Moretti, that you will really see if there's a difference in quality of the beer. It's very difficult to do that thousands of miles apart, if you like. Drinking an Italian Birra Moretti and then bringing it home, or coming home and then trying a UK brewed one. You've got to have them side by side. Not too bad, not too bad. Right, Peroni. Heavily advertised on the telly. Always kind of like Italian style, Italian harbours, drinking by the harbour side, maybe some food. They do very well with their adverts. It's very popular, Peroni, with your town centre kind of like bar areas where you sit outside. You always see people drinking Peroni. Certainly in Mill Lane in Cardiff, the kind of the trendy place to be. You always see people drinking bottles of Peroni. Aroma. Touch skunky, a little bit of light strike from the hops. That's that green glass. Let's dive in. A little bit more of a syrupy taste. A little bit more of a sweet, syrupy taste coming through. I think if you like a sweeter lager, you'll prefer the Peroni. It's just got this sweetness level there, that syrupy kind of level there that I'm not overly keen on here. Counter that with a little bit of light strike coming through, that little bit of hop strike, light strike, skunkiness. It makes for a bit of a... I mean, their marketing team do really well. They push the adverts out on the TV, and you do see people drinking bottle after bottle of this, and trendy town centres and whatnot. And I don't know, I don't think it's that much. I don't think it's a great beer, if I'm honest. Certainly not this bottle anyway. Ah, it's syrupy and sweet, and then a bit of light strike coming through, and then just a bit of bitterness, peppery bitterness. Brewed and bottled in Italy by Birra Peroni. Okay, this is brewed in Italy. This has been exported over from Italy. I'm really surprised by that. Water, barley malt, Italian maize and hops. I'm really surprised by the sweetness on the Peroni. On a personal level, I'd much prefer the Birra Moretti. That's slightly more drier and not leaning towards being too sweet. It's a much more rounded lager, the Moretti. For me. I think this boils down to yourselves. If you're a fan of sweeter lagers, then I think you need to purchase the Peroni. If you're a fan of more of a drier, more of a hop taste coming through, stinging nettle, bit of spiciness, more of an authentic drier lager, then I think the Moretti will be for you. But my own personal rating is Birra Moretti would get a 7 out of 10, and the Peroni would get a 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10. Interesting comparison this from two beers from the same country, should I say? I nearly said company, country. One being brewed in the UK though, and one being brewed in Italy. But that's the differences. Small differences, but they will definitely impact your choice of buying. What you're going to buy, what you're going to drink. I hope you liked the video. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom. Cheers.